الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن دعاء أو من دعوة لا يستجاب لها. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلق محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. إن شاء الله روز جمعه هست. امروز 24 دسامبر سال 2021 و مصادف است با 20 ماه جمادی الاول سال 1443 و 3 جدی سال 1400 هجری شمسی. انشاءالله درس هفتوار قرآن، درس قرآن انشاءالله شروع میکنیم. امروز انشاءالله آیاتایی که از سوره بقره خوانده بودیم دوباره یک تکرار میکنیم و بعد آیات را تفسیر و ترجمه میکنیم. آیات 183 تا 185 آیات راجع به صیام، راجع به رمضان و روزه رمضان است. هم آیات را انشاءالله خدمتتان عرض میکنیم. اعوذ بالله من الشیطان الرجیم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم
لعلكم تتقون.
كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
أياما معدودات. فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر.
فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر.
وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين.
وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين.
فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له. وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن
هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان.
هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان.
فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه.
فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه.
ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر.
ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر.
يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة.
يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر
ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون.
ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. احکام تجویدش و دفعه دیگه شرح کرده بودیم. So انشاءالله امروز ترجمه لفظیش و بعد از احکامش بیان میکنیم. So we did explain the rules of tajweed last time, if you remember. Salim al-Khan Sahib last the week before. Yeah. So we'll slightly touch those rulings, but mainly we will focus on meaning in the interpretation. Okay?
Yeah.
خلاص. يا أيها الذين آمنوا. This phrase, يا أيها الذين آمنوا. Yeah, there is a mad. يا أيها الذين آمنوا. So that mad is munfasil. Due to Hamza, that's munfasil. So you have the option to prolong it or not to prolong it. So you prolong it 2, you prolong it 4 or 5 times. That is up to you. So يا أيها الذين آمنوا, O you who believed. This phrase, O you who believed, is repeated in the Quran a lot of times. 80 sometimes it has mentioned in the Quran. Allah is calling upon you. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, whenever Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, so you should be alert. Sheikh, you should be alert. Okay, that Allah is calling upon you. So there is something important coming after that. So if that is a command, so you have to obey it. If there is a prohibition, so you have to stay away from. So just be alert whenever you heard this phrase, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. O you who believe. یعنی ای امی جمله یا ایها الذین آمنو در قرآن 80 چند مرتبه ذکر شده و هر مرتبه که ذکر شده بعد از او باز یک امر آمده. خداوند امر کرده یا یک چیز را منع کرده. یک چیز امر کرده که بکنین و یک چیز را نهی کرده که نکنین. دیگه عبدالله بن مسعود میگه هر وقتی که شما امی جمله را در قرآن شنیدین یا خواندین دیگه شما آماده باشین. ترسی که چیز مهم میایه بعد از این یک حکم مهم آمدنی است که او حکم ما باید او را بجا بیاوریم. اگر امر است یا بارک الله فیک بارک خیر جزاک الله خیر. دیگه در اینجا this is the phrase that let's see what is coming after. So it says كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. كتب عليكم. كتب mean kitab. Kitab, writing. So when you are writing something, it means that is staying. That is final. Okay? When you are doing an agreement with someone, there is oral agreement, there is written one. So that written one is the most important one. No one could deny that. Orally you could promise you could do something and then that you cannot say, oh, what is your proof? That's in the air. So no, but here is, when it is written, kutiba here means furida. Kutiba means furida, fard. It has become fard upon you. Kutiba alaykum, it has written upon you. It has been prescribed upon you. It means that it has been fard upon you. یعنی کتبه نوشته شده بالای شما. یک چیزی که بالای نوشته شد معنی اینه که اینمی حکم شد، صادر شد. مثلا قاضی امر میکنه، فیصله خود نوشته میکنه و صادر میکنه. خلاص دیگه. او دیگه نوشته شد امروز. مثلا پادشاه، رئیس جمهور، امیرالمؤمنین، خلیفه، او که یک امر فرمان صادر میکنه، همون فرمان است دیگه. بعد از او تغییر و تبدیل نمیه. There's no change in it. If the leader, if anybody that just decree anything, writes anything, so that is final. So nobody is going to violate that one or say, I don't know, or I didn't understand. So no excuse. كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمْ الصِّيَامُ. Siyam has been prescribed upon you. Siyam has been prescribed upon you. As if, kama kutiba, as if it has been prescribed or fard, obligatory, upon those who were before you. عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. Before you. So it's not something new. It is something that has been prescribed upon the previous nations too. So it shouldn't be a burden on you. Because They're fasting. Yeah. So previous nation, they fasted. So then you shouldn't be burden on you to say, oh, can you fast? Yeah, it's difficult or this. All people before you fasted.
Rules regulation is different.
So that's what we come to. So these are ahkam sharia. So they comes to different people, different timing. But they may not be exactly the same. Okay, they're not exactly the same fasting. There is difference in fasting, but those fasting, type of fasting is different. But anyway, so Islamic fasting is very unique one. It's not like other fasting. So inshallah we'll talk about that. یعنی سیام روزه بالای شما فرض گردانیده شده، مثلی که فرض گردانیده شده با کسایی که قبل از شما بود. یعنی امی گفتن اما قدرم بود که فرض است روزه، اما خداوند متعال که ذکر کرده که امتهای سابق هم روزه میگرفتن. یعنی شما نباید ایره تو یک چیز یک بار دوش فکر کنین، یک مشکل مشقت فکر کنین. ایره دو فکر کنین که مردمای سابق، امتهای سابق هم روزه گرفتن. یعنی چیزی جدید نیست، کدام مشقت نیست. اونا که از توانش برآمدن شما هم میبراین دیگه. ای به خاطر ازی که این میره بر ما و شما یک کمی آسانتر و تخفیفتر نشان بده. و خداوند متعال گفت که بالای امتهای دیگه همین فرض است. خب هدف ازی چی است؟ به خاطر چی؟ why should we fast؟ لعلکم تتقون. این به خاطر ازی که شما تقوا حاصل کنین. تقون یعنی تقوا کنین. تقوا تتقون یعنی تقوا یعنی نگاه، خود را نگاه دارین، بپرهیزین، نگاه کنین. یعنی چی را که امی در روزه گرفتن شما خودداری میکنین، خودداری میکنین از خوردن و نوشیدن و از حرام و از چیز گپا، از گناه دیگه. وقتی که ایره شما یعنی در مقابل گناه خود را نگاه میدارین دیگه. تقوا یعنی خود را نگاه کردن. So taqwa is like protection. So you are protecting yourself against the sins. Because when you are staying away from your desires, which is very much halal. Okay, in Ramadan, during the day of Ramadan, whatever you are staying away, these are halal stuff. Eating, drinking is not haram. But you are staying during the daytime, so it's as a training that you could stay from those things which are haram. So the way you are staying away from halal, how come you are not staying away from haram? So there is a training. So that is taqwa. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So in this ayah that as we see, that we have like this is calling upon mu'mineen, believers. Allah is calling upon believers. So believers are commanded to fast. Non-believers, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, we said. That it's not يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ. Allah didn't say, oh people, it is further upon you. It say, oh you who believed. So believers are the one that commanded here. So it means that those who are non-believers, we are not commanding them to fast or to pray or to give zakah or to go to Hajj. That is not the command for them. Why? What is the command for them then? To have iman first. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu. If you have no iman, then what is the benefit of fasting and what is the benefit of zakat or hajj? There's no benefit. Because iman is the main thing, the basic. If you have no iman, nothing will help you. Nothing. All good deeds, anything that you do is not helping you. So you have to believe first. And then later on, these ahkam you have to obey. فهمیدین؟ یعنی که این است که حکم است برای مؤمنان. یعنی مؤمنان با احکام شرعی مخاطب هستند. غیر مؤمن با احکام شرعی مخاطب نیست. کسی که مؤمن نیست به اونا خطاب کرده نمیتونه که شما نماز برپا کنین، شما حج برین، شما زکات بدین. چرا که اونا اولا باید ایمان بیاورن. ایمان آوردن شما آنها این بسیار مهم و ضروری است نسبت به ادا کردن زمین کارهای چیز عبادت. ایس و ایرازی هم فهمیدیم که امتهای سابقه هم روزه داشتن. از این آیتی تو فهمیده میشه که امتهای سابق هم روزه میگرفتن. وقتی تورات و در انجیل برین، عیسی علیه السلام 40 روز روزه گرفته، موسی علیه السلام روزه میگرفته، یهود روزه میگرفتن، روزایی که چیز بودن اونا امو روز فتح خدا و کامیابی خدا او روزه میگرفتن، روزی که موسی علیه السلام از فرعون نجات یافته، یوم عاشورا کفاره، او را یا روزه میگرفتن. So there was fasting on those people before us, as it mentioned in the Bible. Isa alayhi salam, he did fast 40 days upon his message that he started propagating the message. He started that with 40 days of fasting. And also Musa alayhi salam, those people, they fasted the day that they were saved from Fir'aun. So to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that, they were fasting for that day. So it means they were fasting. So exactly they were fasting like us? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Exactly they were praying like us? Not necessarily. The prayer is not necessarily exactly the same way we are praying. So their fasting was different. So like today, if you ask them how do they fast? They fast for 24 hours.
Yeah.
From Maghrib to Maghrib.
Yeah. Drink.
Yeah, so that's one type. And another type of fasting is that they are just fasting from few items.
Yeah.
Like solid food.
Yeah. No meat.
No meat or something. Or another type of fasting is that they are just fasting from those things which are like the very favorite of them.
Yeah.
Like what do you like the most? So they want to stay away from. The other stuff they eat. So, but at least they observe something to say, okay, we are fasting from those things. So, in Islam, we have like this fasting from eating, from drinking, from sexual activities, from all other desires. So, fasting from dawn to dusk, with the niyyah that get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and gain taqwa. So that is Islamic fasting. So, from dawn to dusk, with the niyyah that you are getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you have no niyyah, you have no food, you didn't find a food or nobody is feeding you and you are locked up for 24 hours, that's not fasting.
Yeah.
That's not, because there is no niyyah in it, no intention. But that you have to have an intention that yes, I am fasting. So that is siyam. And from this side, kama kutiba ala alladhina, so they have their own way of fasting, and we have our own way of fasting. And some people, they fast the purpose of what they are fasting for. See, I'm saying, if you ask a person that why you are fasting, I need to lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is not the real purpose of fasting. That's not fasting has been revealed for. Okay, to lose weight. Or some people say, I fast because I want to feel hungry the way that other people are feeling hungry. Well, that is not the main purpose. Okay, that's not the main purpose. That could be one thing. They are coming the result of the fasting that yes, you will lose weight and you will feel hungry the way other people are feeling. But the main purpose is that you gain closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You stay away from haram. You stay away from muharramat. If you could train yourself not to come close to the halal thing, then you should like 10 times more staying away from haram.
But you can always like put, and you can always fast to get closer to Allah, and also you can put your intention to stay away from sexual desires. You can put that intention, right? When you make a niyyah.
Well, that is to stay away from that. That is you were part of the siyam.
Yeah, part of it.
Part of the siyam. You can have fasting while you're doing that.
Yeah.
You can do that. That's part of it, because that is haram. So now think this way. So in Islam, that it didn't say explicitly that fasting is to stay away from haram. Well, that's obvious. There's no need to say that.
You don't have to say it.
You don't have to. If Allah is prohibiting us from eating and drinking halal food during the daytime, so what do you think of haram food?
Haram already come unnecessary.
See, already you can't say that. Wait. See, yes, that's there are a lot of hadiths that there are two people or two women that they they fasted. Okay, and it was too difficult on them, so they were about to like go unconscious, fainted. So they sent someone to the Prophet ﷺ, said that, oh, there are two ladies and they have fasted and they are about to faint and they can't. Are you allowing them to break their fast? And then Prophet ﷺ said, okay, take a container or something to them and let them to vomit on it. They say, Ya Rasulullah, they didn't eat anything. How come they vomit? They say, no, tell them to vomit. So when they vomit, and they vomited something like blood. So Prophet ﷺ said, these were fasting from what Allah made halal. But they were not fasting from what Allah made haram, they were backbiting. They fasting from food, but they were not fasting from backbiting. So they kept talking about other people, backbiting, and that's what they are vomiting. So it means that if you are fasting from those things which is halal, it doesn't make any sense that you are committing which is haram.
Yeah.
So you have to stop from haram, okay, first and foremost. And then, yes, you train yourself from the haram stuff. So purpose of Siyam is very important. Purpose, why we are fasting? We are fasting to gain closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to gain taqwa, to be what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do. And that is, yes, we will be disciplined, okay, we will have a good regime or losing our weight, and we have feeling of other people, that will come. That is sidewise these things will come. By product you will get this thing too. But main purpose is that we want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فهمیدی خانم محمد خان؟ میگیم که چرا میگه روزه میگیری؟ یک نفر میگه من روزه میگیرم که والا کم وزنم کم شوه. همین روزه خوب است که وزن کم میکنه. خب اما این هدف روزه نیست. یک نفر میگه چرا روزه میگیری؟ والا ما به چیز است که گشنه و تشنه شدم که از دل غریبا بیایم. خب یوم است مگه میخوا هدف روزه نیست. او خیلی چرا روزه میگیری؟ روزه هدف از روزه است که ما چقدر خود به خداوند امتحان نزدیک میسازیم، تقوا حاصل کنیم. فرمان است. اینه که گفته که روزه ما فرمان خدا را با جان میآوریم.
گپ میزنید فرمان برداری تا
این همین گپ دیگه. بعد از او که هر نتیجه که به دست آمد، او اگر وزن ما کم شد، اگر صحت ما خوب شد، او میآید، او خداوند تو را اجرش میده از اون نتیجه روزه. اما این را ما در هدف خود نمیگیریم که روزه ما به خاطر صحت ماست یا به خاطر کم کردن وزن ماست. او درست است، او میشه. اما هدف اساسی روزه است که تقوا.
دوشنبه و پنجشنبه است به خاطر
اینه هل دکترها میگن که دوشنبه و پنجشنبه شما روزه بگیرین، 2 روز روزه که بگیرین شما بسیار صحت تا خوب میشه. یعنی زمین وقتی که در روزه مثلا در افطار نان میخوری، بعد سحری نان میخوری، بیدار وقت بیدار میشید، این وقت این یک چیزی است که انسان یک دیسیپلین میده، نظم است، ضبط است. هر وقت نمیخوری که هر وقت بری طرف دار میخوری طرف یخچال بیرفتی باز کنی یک چیزی بگیری بخوری، حالا پارت یک سریال پارت و دیگه بزنی یک ساندویچ کش کو. این تو خود نیست. نه دیگه منظم هستی که وقت نانت معلوم است، وقت خوردنت، وقت نام خوابیدنت، این چیزا یک دیسیپلین است. اما این هدف است. خب باز ایام معدودات، fasting for a limited number of days. معدودات معدودات یعنی numbered. ایام معدودات is like معدودات عدد تا که است، تا is جمع القله، یعنی که نشان بدن که روزای چند روز است. این خود یک ماه است. روزه یک ماه است. نه، امور خداوند ایام معدودات، روزهای شمرده شده، یعنی 30 روز یا 29 روز این همی میآید. یعنی 3 ماه و 4 ماه و 5 ماه نیست، ماها نیست، این روزها هست. یعنی که شما در اینجا بسیار چیز نکنین که سر شما بسیار چیز سنگین تمام شوم. دیگه روزه است که روزه رمضان، این روزهای چیز است، امو معدود است، عدد شده، شمرده شده. Numbered days. They are not months, they are days. numbered days. أيام معدودة. فمن كان منكم مريضا. خب, in all Islamic orders, there are some exceptions. So because this doesn't make any sense that you give an order for everybody. Well, there are people that they are sick. They can't fast. There are people, they are traveling, they are in difficulties. They don't know where they are ending up, where there is food available, not available, which time they are stopping, which time they are moving. So all these things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave an exception in this one. فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيدًا. So whoever among you is ill, أو على سفر, or they are on journey during these days, they are on journey. So then what should they do? فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. Then the equal number of days are to be made up later. The equal number, فَعِدَّةٌ, the same iddah, the same number that you missed when you are traveling, when you are sick during the days of Ramadan. So later on you have to make up the same number of days that you missed, right, due to traveling or due to sickness. So you do it while you are then resident in healthy. خب یعنی این میگه روزای شمرده شده هست مگر کسی شما مریض باشه. یک استثناء در اینجا هست. کسی شما مریض باشه یا در سفر باشه. دیگه در دو صورت او روزهایی را که شما افطار کردین و روزه گرفتن نتونستین، بازی روزها را بعداً پورا کنین. همون تعداد را که در ماه رمضان شما از دست دادین، روزه گرفتن نتونستین، افطار کردین، همون تعداد روزها را بعداً باز شما روزه بگیرین. خب یکی و علی الذین یطیقونه، و او کسایی که اینا چیز دارن میتونن که بگیرن به مشقت و به سختی. روزه میگیرن اما بسیار سخت است سرشان، مشقت است. مثلا کی؟ مثلا شیخ فانی. شیخ فانی یعنی یک کسی که بسیار عمر دراز و چیز داشته باشه، کهولت یعنی مسن، مثلا 90 ساله 80 ساله. خب تفاوت داره. باز 80 ساله است که نام خدا خوب هستن، بعضی 80 و 90 است که خوب است، بعضی هستن که مثلا 75 سالگی بیخی ضعیف است. یعنی بعضی هستن که کدام تکلیف ندارن، متوانی ندارن، چیز است. So there are some people they could fast but it will be difficult on them because they are not sick. Sheikh Fani. So there are some people they are healthy. It means they have no major heart problem, they don't have diabetes, they don't have lung problem, they have no blood pressure, but still their activity is weak. The body is weak, the function of the body is weak. So he cannot fast. He is not sick, but he is weak. So those people, or women that they are pregnant, they are not sick. Pregnancy is not sickness. Or the nursing mothers, they are not sick, but if they fast, it will be difficult on them. یا آسان گرفته نه؟ یعنی او کسایی که مثلا مسن است بسیار با مشقت روزه میگیره، یا او کسایی که مثلا باردار است، حامله هستن و خب مریض نیستن، او حمل داره نه بار داره و برزو مشکل است که او روزه بگیره.
از 70 بالاست.
و یا مثلا کسی که طفل شیرخوار داره، مادر که شیر میته، یعنی او خب مریض نیست اما او خب باید یک چیزی غذا و گپا داشته باشه که برای اولاد خود چیز میته، شیر میته دیگه. او را دیگه اگه روزه بگیره میتونه که روزه بگیره اما بسیار مشقت است.
باز اگه نگیره باید جبرانی شبت
خالی نمیگه. بس خداوند نمیره میگه که او کسایی که به مشقت میگیرن، با مشقت میگیرن، بازو چی است؟ فدیتون طعام مسکین. اونا فدیه میتن. او فدیهش چی است؟ طعام مسکین. طعام یک مسکین است، نان یک مسکین است. So those people that they could fast but with difficulties, so then they have to do what? they have to feed the poor people a meal for that day. For a day that they're breaking their fast, give a meal. و اون روزی که افطار میکنن و اون روز به یک مسکین نان بدن. و دیگه علما گفتن که نان چی بدن و سابق و رستوران تو گپا نبود نه. اونجا باز همین نان بود، این چیز امی گندم یا چیز، یعنی او چیزی که در یک کشور، یعنی در یک کشور که امو غالبا امو خوراک اساسی از امو کشور چی است؟ مثلا در افغانستان خوراک اساسی ما شما چی؟ گندم است نه؟ نان. یعنی هر کس باید نان بخوره. این نیست که مردم یعنی بدون یا برنج است نه؟ برنج است. مثلا در کشورهای ما نان است. باز در کشورهای دیگه مثلا چیزی دیگه است. خرما است مثلا. خرما است. خرما میخورن. دیگه هر چیزی که در هر جایی که رواج بود از امو غذای امو منطقه برای مسکین در حدود 1.5 پاو میگه 675 گرم 675 گرم از او بتین یک خوراک نان آلی امو یک خوراک نان فعلا اگر 30 روز افطار کردی 30 روز بعد 30 مسکین نان بدی
30 نفره یا هر روز 30 نفره؟
نه برای هر روز یک نفره که 30 روز 30 نفر. خب آلی در اینجا هست که امروز فعلا که هست امروز حالا خب مردم مال ما خود تنها گندم خود کس نمیگیره که بیا 1 کیلو گندم بخر بیا که نمی نان یک روز از خود از یک چیز دیگه میخره نه. حالا خب باز اینجا اینطور است که مردم میرن در بازار میخرن. So previously they were here you go. So previously people when they were counting how much feeding a poor person, so what was the main food of that city? It could have been wheat, it could have been barley, it could have been dates, it could have been rice, it could have been raisin. So anything that the people of that city or country they're normally eating, so you have to provide that one for a poor person. So today, what their people they are not eating just wheat. They are eating a meal. That meal is consisting of bread and salan and everything. So then today, yeah, you see, so for today then for that a meal of the day, for a person that a meal, it's not just one. So that's why some scholars when they say like $10, so $10 if you go or prepare for yourself or go in a modest or average restaurant that you eat, so that much will cost. That much will cost. Right. So, or if people say no, $5 because 1 kilogram of wheat is costing this and 2 kilograms is costing this. So, anyways, anything that you do, that what is the best interest of the poor person, you do that one. Yeah. So, which one is beneficial to that person? So you do that one. If
they ask about money, you can just give them money, like $100.
But here is we try to be restricting it to food. To food because food is ta'am as is food, and that's why sadaqatul fitr that we say that still a lot of scholars or under mazahib they say it should be food, but we in Imam Abu Hanifa school of thought they say you could give them money because what is beneficial to the poor person? Probably if everybody during the Ramadan they give sadaqatul fitr to the poor person, everybody bombarded that person with the rice, with the wheat. But that person doesn't have ghee, oil, cooking oil, doesn't have sugar, doesn't have tea, doesn't have vegetables. So how he could survive just with wheat? Or just have it. So there's difficulty. So that's Imam Abu Hanifa say that whatever is in the best interest of the poor person, give it that. So you give it money, so he could buy medicine, he could buy ghee, oil, cooking oil, he could buy sugar, tea, sweets, anything. Or clothing, for example, someone buy for his family. He might have food for that day, but he doesn't have clothes for the children. So anyway, so these are, but basically it's ta'am. So basically a person should be taking care of his food in the dietitian or sustenance for that day. Fidyatun ta'amu miskin. Ta'amu miskin. So that you فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ خَيْرًا فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ. And the person that who did extra, voluntarily paid more, you give voluntarily extra. If you ever volunteers, good. فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. Instead of like one miskin, you paid for two miskin. Instead of $5, you pay $10. And instead of $10, you pay $15. فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. That is the best. And then, وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. But instead of like fasting, and instead of feeding, if you fast, that is better for you. The goal is fasting. But if you cannot fast and you have difficulties, you are paying voluntarily for the food, and then that is acceptable. But fasting is the goal. So you are fast. But if you cannot fast, then there is an exception that you could feed a person for that day that you break your fast. And those who are able to fast, but with hardship, a ransom as a substitute for feeding a poor person each day. And whoever volunteers good, access, it is better for him. But to fast, it is best for you if you only know. In kuntum ta'lamun, if you know, so fasting is better. Because fasting is like once in a year, and during those days that everybody is fasting, if you fast, so that will be a good harmonious thing that you are in the harmony with the rest of the society, the community. So you will feel the spirit of Siyam.
Otherwise, one fast on the other day is so difficult.
So difficult, that's why. So fasting in Ramadan is easier than fasting in other than Ramadan. Why? Because the environment is not suitable for the fasting. So everybody else is eating or talking about this, but in the fasting everybody is focused. Everybody is talking about spirituality and iftar and suhoor. So people are prepared. And that's why you find it, as you say, that very easy to fast during the month of Ramadan. Even you don't feel it because everybody else is doing it. But if you are alone, so that would be very difficult for you. Okay, so now we are coming to the what is special about the month of Ramadan. Why month of Ramadan was picked for being the month of fasting? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The month of Ramadan is the month in which Quran was revealed. So Ramadan is the month of Quran first. Before it became the month of Siyam, it was the month of Quran. So Ramadan was picked to be the month of fasting because of the revelation of the Quran. So Ramadan becomes so special due to the revelation of the Quran. So Allah picked it to be the month of fasting too. Okay, so this is the only Islamic month which is mentioned in the Quran by name. In the whole Quran, the only month which is mentioned by name is the month of Ramadan. Hope, Khanal Khan. رفض آخر شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن نازل شده ذي قرآن قرآن چی است؟ What is Quran? هدى للناس. It's guidance. Quran is guidance. هدى للمتقين ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم. يهدي, hidayah. So here also, هدى للناس. This is hidayat for the people, human, mankind. It didn't say for believers, for mu'mineen, for Arabs, for Asian, for Nas, for people, everybody, regardless. It's covering everybody.
Even kuffar?
Even kuffar.
Everybody,
Yeah. But they are not benefiting from it. They are not coming. But this is you imagine that in the time of revelation, how many people were believers?
Very few.
Very few. Everybody was kuffar. So that due to this one, now why we have 1 billion Muslim, for example. So in that time of revelation, few people, the Quran started guidance. So for those few people, so that grow for everybody. Regardless of the faith, regardless of the color, regardless of the background, It's for everybody. Even in that human, it's for jinn too. For jinn too. So ins and jinn both. So rahmatan lil alameen. So here hudan linnas, this is guidance for the people. Quran is the book of guidance. Pay attention to this one. Some people, they try to find out like scientific facts in the Quran. Yeah, there no doubt there are some miracles, scientific facts. But originally Quran was not revealed to discover the scientific facts. Quran was revealed to guide people. Okay, Quran was revealed to put people back on the right track. It was not to tell the people, okay, how many like there are stars or astronomy or about the plants, about the oceans, about the water, about all these. But there are hints about the waters, about the ratio of land and water, about the plants and about all life and about the sun and moon and all these. But that was not the reason for the revelation of the Quran. But the main reason for the revelation is this is the book of guidance to guide people. هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى. بينات. بينة is evidences, proofs. بينة بينة بينات. بينات is plural. بينة is singular. بينة is the proof, evidence. Evidence or proof. البينة على ما البينة على المدعي واليمين على من أنكر. So in fiqh we have a maxim or a principle, and that say that if two party, they dispute about something, so you claim and he denied. You claim that you lent him $100. Okay, and he denies that. So as that you are claiming, so you have to have evidence. You have to prove it. Do you have any witness? Do you have anything written? Why you say that you lend him money? He owes you money. Do you have any proof? So you have to prove what you say, what you claim, and then if you failed, then he has al-yaminu ala man ankar. So he has to swear by Allah that he is not owe you the money. So this is, so the whole point here is al-bayyinatu ala al-mudda'i. Al-mudda'i is the person that who has a claim against someone. So if you are a claimer and claiming, so you have to have proof. Without proof you are claiming, so you are in trouble. In Islamic court, if you claim without proof, you are in trouble. So you don't talk if you have no proof. Okay? But if you have proof, you have no proof, and you claim and you're so confident that happened, then that person has to deny that by swearing. That swear by Allah that he doesn't owe you anything. He doesn't receive anything. So here, al-bayyina, bayyina means proof or evidence. Min al-huda, from the guidance. There are proofs, there are evidences from the guidance in this book, in the Quran. Wal-furqan, this Quran is called also furqan. What is furqan? Furqan, furqan, فرق نه میگه فرق تفریق فاروق این کلش یک چیز است. فرقان یعنی چیزی را که خیر از شر تفریق میکنه، فرق میکنه، یعنی خوب از بد تمیز میکنه، این را فارق میگه. فرقان یعنی یک معیار و یک مقیاس و یک ترازوی وجود داره که بگه کدامش وزن است، کدامش سبک است، کدامش خوب است، کدامش بد است، دیگه او را میگه فرقان که فرق یک چیز معلوم میسازه. دیگه قرآن میگه فرقان. فرقان چرا؟ که قرآن امو حق از باطل تمیز میکنه، فرق حق و باطل برات نشان میده که این فرقش چی است. So what is فرقان? فرقان means criterion, standard. So that you, by this criterion, by this scale, you know what is right and what is wrong, what is truth and what is falsehood. So that is only known by this book. So that's why it's called Quran, the Furqan. And also, in the day of Badr, the day that Muslims, the first ever battle that Muslims fought against the pagan Quraysh, so that day is also called Yawm al-Furqan. Yawm al-Furqan. Why it was called Yawm al-Furqan?
Because good and bad was included.
Because Allah distinguished who was on the right side and who were on the wrong side. Who were good and who were evil. Who were believers and who were non-believers. Who were supported by Allah and who were not supported by Allah. So Allah distinguished those two groups in that day. So that's why that day is called the day of Furqan, Yawm al-Furqan. Okay, so هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه. Okay, so here, before we translate this one, in the early stage of Islam, when the Ramadan, the fasting of Ramadan was prescribed, in the beginning there was also an option for the wealthy people, or those people they're rich. Instead of fasting, they could pay fidya.
They have power too.
You see, they have money. Okay, I don't want to fast, but I want to pay fidya. So that was allowed. Then later on, based on this ayah, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Regardless, anybody who witnessed this month, that person should fast. No more. Because in the beginning that was encouragement for the people to feed people, and even if you don't want to fast, but you could, for wealthy people. But now that command was abrogated, and that was cancelled. And now every single person has to fast, except for those exception of sick person and traveling. Okay, so this فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ, and whosoever sought, shahida, shahid, to found, or to find, or to witness the month, to find himself in the month of Ramadan, to sight the new moon of this month, let him fast it. Let that person fast. شهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. So now Allah repeated this phrase again, because people might think, oh, even those people that they are sick and traveling, they also have to fast, because now the new command came. Anybody has to fast. So now the people might think, oh, what about the sick person in the traveling? In the early ayah, that was an exception given. So Allah repeated that exception again. Yes, every single person who sought the new month of the Ramadan should fast, but those people who are sick or traveling, that they have to make up these days later on. ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر. Allah does intend for you yusr, ease. People should not think, oh, Ramadan is difficult, oh, we couldn't. So no. See, there are exceptions. If you're sick, you are traveling, you could break your fast. So there are a lot of, now, today's scholars, they're giving a fatwa for those people who are hard-working people. Like they are working in the day of Ramadan under the sun. Some scholars say they break their fast. It's impossible to work under the sun in 50 Celsius degree, 100 degree, and then you are working there. So you break your fast, because that is not the purpose of fasting, to starve you or to make your life difficult. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرِ. Allah intended for you ease. وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرِ. Allah doesn't intend for you the difficulties, hardship. So if you are in so difficulties, because the purpose of Siyam is not starvation, it's not difficulties, it's not losing weight, it is getting closer to Allah. So you could get closer to Allah even when you are breaking your fast. You are breaking your fast due to the command of Allah. Allah commanded, Allah give you the exception. So you are using Allah's exception, so that is also something you are obeying Allah. So that is very much the ease that you are enjoying from what Allah has given you. يريد الله بكم اليسر يسر ولا يريد بكم العسر يسر إن مع العسر يسرا. As Surah Sharh, Usr and Yusr, they are the opposite of each other. As antonyms. Did, they are ad-dad. So they are the opposite of each other. ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة. تكملوا تكميل مكمل, to complete the numbers, to complete the numbers, and to complete the period and the numbers al-iddah, that numbers of the days. وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, and then glorify Allah and express the greatness of Allah. Takbir. When you say takbir, means the greatness of Allah, expressing the greatness of Allah. Allah is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. So that is the takbir of Allah. You are doing expressing the takbir of Allah, and you are completing a takbir for what? Ala ma hadakum, that Allah has guided you. Okay? You see, in these ahkam, in these iman in Islam, so it is Allah's favor on us. It's not our favor on Allah. Oh Allah, we are following you. Because it's our benefit. We're not benefiting Allah in any way, in shape and form. What do we do? So we never benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah doesn't need our benefit. But we are the one that we need to fast, to benefit from fasting, to benefit from zakah, to benefit from hajj. That's what we need to do. Ala ma hadakum, and for what Allah has guided you. So you glorify Allah for that to which He has guided you. وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, and perhaps you will be grateful, and you may be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So here this وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ, that means the सियाम, रोजे जो छोड़े हैं वो पूरे करेंगे.
Tukmilul Iddata, when you completed the numbers of the fasting days, and then you express the greatness. That's why in the Eid Takbirat, it's from this ayah. When we go to Eid prayer, we do Takbirat. Okay, so the Takbirat of when we completed 30 days, or the month of Ramadan, so that night of Eid, we start doing Takbirat. And then we go to the Eidgah.
Based on this ayah?
Yeah, based on it. لِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. لِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ. You complete the numbers. When you complete the numbers, then you expressing the greatness of Allah, takbir of Allah.
That's a good thing. Now I just find out now.
Yeah, see that is. Yeah, takbir. When you say takbir, that is from this one. And there definitely is sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ that he also taught us to do that. And then when you go to Eidgah, to the Eid prayer, so you do takbir. When you are in the Eid prayer, we do takbir. So those takbir are based on this. Because when you finished, so now you thank Allah for giving you this hidayah, this guidance, this tawfiq and this help. And that's why we are doing it, in order to get thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are a lot of ahkam of siyam and those, but this was a literal but little bit meaning of these ayat. Inshallah, the other ayat we will be inshallah following next time.